Welcome to my music theory and reading music course. You can read every lesson in this series at your ease at pianotheoryexercises.com, where you will also find interactive exercises to practice what you've learned. Below this video you will find links to those lessons and exercises on the website. Also below this video you will find a link where you can download this whole music theory course as a free ebook, so don't miss this opportunity. And if my lessons helped you, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks a lot! In this video I will explain the names of the musical notes and their placement on the piano keyboard. Western music uses 12 different musical notes, and every song or piece of music exists only of those 12 different musical notes. And I think the best is to show you this on a piano keyboard. Now when you have a closer look at this piano keyboard, you see that there's a pattern that repeats itself. For example, take a look at this group of keys. You see that this exact same pattern occurs again just on the right side of the original pattern. And again, one more time, the same pattern. And again, again, and one more last time. Let's have a closer look at just one of those patterns. You see that one such a pattern consists of 7 white keys and 5 black keys, which makes a total of 12 keys in one pattern. And those 12 keys are exactly the 12 different musical notes that I mentioned in the beginning. So let's have a look at the names of those notes. And to do so, let's have a look at the pattern of the black keys. You see that there are groups of 2 black keys and groups of 3 black keys. Let's have a look at the groups of 2 black keys. Every time, just at the left side of a group of 2 black keys, there's a white key that we call the C. And as you can see on this keyboard, there are 6 Cs. Now with those Cs as a starting point, we can easily find the note names of the other white keys. We just continue in alphabetical order. So just on the right side of every C, we find the note D. So after that, just E, F, G. But now, watch out, the next note is not an H. Because in music we use for the note names the letters from A to G. Now as you know, we started with the letter C, so we will continue now with the letter A and then B. So we've now used all the letters from A to G, and you can see that all the white keys now have a name. So those were the white keys. What about the black keys? Let me just take one black key, for example this one. And as you can see, this black key is situated between the notes C and D. Now as you probably know, the more you go to the right side of the piano keyboard, the higher the pitch of the notes, and the more you go to the left side of the keyboard, the lower the pitch of the notes. So that means that this black key is a little bit higher in pitch than the C, but a little bit lower in pitch than the D. We call this note a C sharp, and you write it as a C with an added sharp sign. And this sharp sign means that it's higher in pitch than the C. But of course you can see this note not only as a C that's slightly higher in pitch, but also as a D that's slightly lower in pitch. In that case we call this note a D flat. And you write it as a D with an added flat sign. So this flat sign indicates that it's slightly lower in pitch. So this means that C sharp and D flat are 2 different names for exactly the same note. Now in exactly the same way you can find the names of all the other black keys. So you just add a sharp sign when you want it slightly higher in pitch and a flat sign when you want it slightly lower in pitch. Okay, now the following. When for example C sharp or D sharp exist, why E sharp couldn't exist? Well, you would say it can't exist, because the key just on the right side next to the E is a white key and not a black key. But theoretically, you could say that the E sharp and the F are exactly the same note. Why not? And indeed, this is the case. E sharp and F are the same note. But why would you call the F an E sharp instead of just F? Well, when you're a bit more advanced in music theory, you will learn that in some cases you have to say E sharp instead of F. But for now, of course, we just call it F, And to be honest, in most cases it's just called F and not E sharp. And in a similar way, you could of course say that an F flat is the same note as an E. But why would you use the name F flat instead of E? Well, also this is more advanced music theory, which you don't have to know for now. For now, it's just E, of course. But it could even be worse, because it's even possible to have double sharps and double flats. For example, when you have a C sharp and you would add an extra sharp sign, you would have C double sharp, which is of course nothing else than just a D. But why would you ever call a D a C double sharp? Well, don't worry. In by far the most cases, it's called a D and not C double sharp. But there are cases where you would rather call it C double sharp, but you don't have to know it right now. This is more advanced music theory, which you don't have to know for now. Okay, you can of course also have double flats. For example, a D double flat is nothing else than a C. But again, for now you don't have to know that. Okay, to conclude this lesson, just one important remark. Two different note names that indicate one and the same note, so for example C sharp and D flat, are called enharmonic equivalent notes. So some other example of enharmonic equivalent notes are G sharp and A flat, A sharp and B flat, but also E sharp and F, or F double sharp and G, etc. Now, in order to remember all those note names and their placement on the piano keyboard, it's of course very important to practice. Therefore, I created interactive exercises that you can find on pianotheoryexercises.com. You will find a link below this video.